news in, all across social media that Toronto real estate market is going to, housing market especially, is going to crash this year, and prices are going to drop 25-30% from their, peak, or you can say January 2020 um, prices. So just wanted to share some charts, some figures to actually, validate if this is in fact true and how the Toronto real estate market is doing right now. So let's go over the charts. I can go in detail with the charts and kind of share what's actually happening in the Toronto real estate market.
Houses and condos, and this is just the sum of everything together. So if you look at detached homes, it's 178 sales. This is again volume. The difference versus last year versus this year is 69.6% reduction. So it has dropped almost 70% versus last year. New listings are at 360 for the detached homes, and again it's a drop of 71% versus last year. Okay, if you look at the average price, it's at 1.257 million, so that's a reduction of 9.1% versus last year. So the price have dropped by 9%. Okay, if you look at the days on market, they're pretty much all across the board, it's improving versus last year. Okay, so what I wanted to point out here is that if you see the sales volume and then the new listings, they are pretty much going hand in hand right now. Okay, unless you see a big difference between these two, you will see the average price is going to pretty much flat out. Okay, if you look at the semis, 66 sales volume wise, a reduction of 63.1%. New listing is 118 homes. Okay, which is a reduction of 58.2%. Okay, average price is at 1.113, and which basically gives us a flat figure of 0.20. So they have not really increased, they have not really decreased, so it's pretty much staying flat, just because the sales volume and the new listings that are coming up are pretty much, almost at par in comparison. Okay, likewise if you see townhouses, 70 sales, a drop of 66.5%. New listings are 135, a drop of 63%. Okay, average price is 772,000, and again it's a flat 0.10%. Okay, if you see the days on market, they have all reduced versus last year. Okay, so there are buyers out in the market right now who are actively looking because they have sold their property and now they need to find something to live in. So that's where the sales volumes are coming, and then new listings, because some of these people have upgraded, or these are new buyers that are trying to get in the market and they think this is the perfect time to get in, get a scoop a deal right now. If you see the condo market, it's a little different. It's a different scenario. If you look at the sales volume, it's 270 sales volume, a reduction of 71.7%. New listings is up pretty much in comparison with all the others. It's 764 new listings, new condos coming in the market, which is just 50% reduction from the previous year. Okay, there are two reasons for this. One is that it's the right home for a first time home buyer, and there are a lot of investors in this particular segment as well. So because of that, you will see that there's a little different scenario here versus all the others. And the average price, beside the detached, it's the condos that have taken a little hit of almost 3% versus last. So if you see, pretty much the average price is down 3.7%. That is due to the 9% decrease in detached that's contributing to this. Otherwise, more or less, it would have been flat. Okay, and it's again, this is the same graph, just giving you a graphical interpretation of the data that's here. Okay, let's look at Peel has a similar situation, but if you look at the prices, they are actually going up, rather than either they are flat or they are actually going up. Okay, So if you look at this one, it's again the same scenario where detached are up by 0.3%, so pretty much flat. Semi have gone up by 5.2%. Okay, townhouse 5.4%, condos 4.5%, and overall Peel region as a whole, prices have gone up by 2.2%. Okay, if you see again the sales and the new listings, they are pretty much in line, more or less. Okay, and what that basically says is that the listing price versus the selling price, it's in that 98 to 100%. So it's not as if there are no buyers and it's actually too far off. They are again 98, 99, or 100% of the asking price. Okay, so if it's priced right, it is going to sell regardless of the situation in the market right now. Let's look at Halton region. Halton region has a similar situation as Toronto with the detached, a little reduction in price here. But if you look at condos, it's the same as Toronto, but semi and detached are going up. Okay, and if you look at the sales volume versus new listings coming up, they are pretty much on that same bracket. And looking at the selling price versus listing price, okay, they are basically at that 97 to 99, and this is the average for this year. Again, it's starting from 96 just because of a drop in that price range, 96. They are going up to 99 versus all the way down to all the way up to 101, okay, for the townhouses, because again that price bracket for the semis and townhouses is pretty lucrative, and that is the reason for this.
So as you can see, based on these charts, that we are nowhere close to having a completely housing crash. The overall sales versus the listings are pretty much balancing out the average price. So I'm sure that we're not gonna see a major reduction in price, more or less in that 5 to 10% maximum bracket. But anything more than that, I don't think, based on overall statistics and how the market is reacting right now with this, at the peak of this pandemic. I don't think it's gonna be anything much more than this. It might actually pretty much be on more or less on the on the same level, or maybe a reduction of 3 to 5% at the max. But anything more than that would not be viable for sellers that are not going to be entering the market unless it's necessary for them to sell their house. Likewise, buyers at some point of time, during the year, they will get back in the market. Rather than being on the sideline, they will enter the market, and that would again in turn get more demand, and the supply is again limited. So it's gonna increase the price again once that kicks in. So I hope this was valuable. If you like my videos, then please like, share, subscribe.